Hello everyone! What happens when the best Formula One driver on the planet steps out of his comfort zone and onto the most dangerous, unforgiving racetrack in the world? You get a story so insane, it almost sounds made up. Fresh off another Grand Prix victory, Max Verstappen went to the Nürburgring Nordschleife for his very first GT3 race. And didn't just win. He humiliated legends with decades of experience, lapping faster than anyone thought possible. This wasn't a debut, it was a demolition. Today, we'll dive into how Verstappen shocked the motorsport world, shattered expectations, and left fans asking one question: is this man simply unbeatable? 2 weeks earlier, Verstappen had gone through the formalities of securing his permit to race in the Nürburgring Endurance Series, also known as the NLS. It was meant to be a first taste, a preparation run, maybe even just a side hobby. After all, this is a track so complex, so dangerous, that most drivers spend years learning its 154 corners and unpredictable surfaces. But when race weekend came, the stage was set for something extraordinary. Verstappen was strapped into a top-spec Ferrari 296 GT3, run by the Emil Frey racing team, wearing the colors of his own Verstappen.com squad. The Nürburgring Nordschleife is famous for chewing up and spitting out even seasoned veterans. For Max, it was his first proper sports car race. Nobody knew what to expect. Some thought he'd be quick, sure, but restrained. Others believed he'd learn quietly, bide his time, and only later mount a serious attack. They couldn't have been more wrong. The morning of qualifying was classic Nürburgring chaos. Fog delays, damp patches, and a slippery track. These are exactly the conditions where local knowledge is king. It was supposed to be Verstappen's weakest moment. Instead, it became the first signal that history was about to be made. On his very first flying lap, his first competitive lap ever in a GT3 car around the Nordschleife, Max stopped the clocks at 8 minutes 46.6 seconds. That was already respectable for a debut, but then jaws dropped. It was 24 seconds faster than the next driver, on a single lap, in those conditions. But Verstappen wasn't done. On his second lap, he improved by 9 seconds, dropping into the mid-830s. As the track dried, he switched to slicks and went head-to-head with Christian Krones, the reigning lap record holder of the Nordschleife. For a moment, it looked like experience would hold off raw talent. Krones took provisional pole, and Verstappen sat back in fourth. Then came Max's final flyer. Purple sectors lit up the timing screens. He was on for pole until he hit traffic in Sector 3. The lap was ruined, yet still good enough to place him just a handful of seconds off the record. He would start third on the grid, behind legends of the Nürburgring. For any debutant, that would be a career highlight. For Verstappen, it was just the warm-up. As the cars rolled away for the famously long Nürburgring formation lap, all eyes were on the Ferrari 331. Would Verstappen really attack, or would he settle into a cautious rhythm? The answer came within seconds. As the lights went out, Verstappen launched perfectly. From third on the grid, he sliced between the front-row starters with surgical precision. And by the first corner, he was already in the lead. It was a move that F1 fans had seen countless times. Late braking, total commitment. Only now, it was executed in a heavy GT3 car. And from that moment on, the race was over. By the end of the opening lap, Max had pulled 1.4 seconds clear. By lap 5, the gap was over 16 seconds. He wasn't just leading, he was dismantling a field of drivers who had been racing this track for decades. His fastest race lap? A staggering 7 minutes 51 seconds. Quicker than many qualifying laps from Nürburgring veterans and just shy of the outright records. By his first pit stop on lap 7, Verstappen had built a 23-second lead. After his second stint, when he handed the car over to his teammate Chris Lulham, the advantage was over a full minute. Lulham, a 22-year-old making his own debut, held steady despite yellow flags and traffic, eventually bringing the car home to victory with a comfortable 24-second margin. But make no mistake, this was Verstappen's race. His average lap times were 4 to 5 seconds faster than the best of his rivals, and his dominance had given his teammate a cushion that no one could touch. Now, skeptics will always point to caveats. Some factory teams were absent because of clashes with the World Endurance Championship round in Fuji. Balance of performance regulations may have helped Ferrari, but even stripping those away, the numbers are undeniable. Frank Stippler, a three-time Nürburgring 24 Hours winner, 23 years older than Max, and a master of GT racing, could only watch as Verstappen disappeared into the distance. Afterwards, even Stippler admitted he wasn't surprised, calling Verstappen simply the best driver in the world. This wasn't just about one victory. This was about a Formula One champion stepping into a completely different arena and performing like a seasoned veteran from lap one. It was the perfect demonstration of Verstappen's adaptability, and adaptability is what defines the very best. For Verstappen, this wasn't just a side project. He has been clear. Endurance racing is a passion, almost a hobby, one he pursues online as much as in real life. The Nürburgring 24 Hours, the crown jewel of GT endurance, is his ultimate goal. Conveniently, in 2026, the F1 calendar has a gap between Miami and Canada that would allow him to compete. Don't forget, Red Bull Racing is about to enter a new era with its own in-house power unit, in partnership with Ford. And Ford, in parallel, is developing a hypercar for the World Endurance Championship, the same category that races at Le Mans. If Verstappen continues with Red Bull into that era, the stars may align for him to chase the 24 Hours of Le Mans in a Red Bull Ford hypercar. Picture it. Verstappen, already a multiple F1 world champion, lining up against Ferrari, Porsche, Toyota, BMW, and Aston Martin at the world's most prestigious endurance race. If his Nürburgring debut is anything to go by, it's not a question of whether he can win. It's only a matter of when. Comparisons are inevitable. Fernando Alonso once left F1 behind to chase motorsport's Triple Crown, Monaco, Le Mans, and the Indy 500. He succeeded at Le Mans and came close at Indy. But Alonso's extracurriculars were partly driven by frustration with F1. He needed something else to validate his greatness. Verstappen is different. He isn't chasing recognition. He already has it. He's not bored with F1, though he's hinted at its politics and endless calendar being exhausting. Instead, he races outside F1 purely for joy. That, perhaps, is what makes his dominance even scarier. He doesn't need to prove anything, and yet, when he turns up, he still crushes everyone. In this sense, Verstappen is both the ultimate modern driver, shaped by sim racing, relentless in preparation, and a throwback to the old-school racers, the ones who would drive anything, anywhere, just for the thrill of it. This makes him unique, not just among today's drivers, but in the history of the sport. So what does this all mean for Verstappen's legacy? If he continues on this trajectory, his record won't just be about F1 titles. It will be about versatility, about being the rare driver who can step into any car, any discipline, and instantly perform at the highest level. Think about it. Ayrton Senna is remembered for his raw talent in F1, Michael Schumacher for his work ethic and dominance, Lewis Hamilton for his consistency and adaptability within F1. But Verstappen? He could be remembered as the driver who transcended categories entirely, a man whose ceiling simply didn't exist. 7 days. That's all it took for Verstappen to go from standing on the top step of the podium in Baku after another Formula One win to standing on the podium at the Nürburgring after conquering GT3 racing. Two entirely different disciplines, two completely different challenges. One driver, the same result, total domination. And that's what has left the motorsport world questioning everything. How can one man be this adaptable, this fast, this relentless? If he can do this on his Nürburgring debut, what else is possible? Le Mans? Daytona? Perhaps even a future where he is regarded not just as the best F1 driver of his generation, but as the best racing driver. Full stop. Max Verstappen's stunning Nürburgring debut wasn't just another win. It was a statement, a glimpse of a driver whose talent might have no limits. But what do you think? Is this proof he's on another level? Or will endurance racing truly test him? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. because this journey with Verstappen is only just getting started. Thanks for watching.